So tonight we're just going to be going over pretty much the mock-ups. We can dive into a little bit of just the basics, creating the mock-up. Tonight we're going to try to focus more on adding custom items to the mock-ups and then editing our templates in case we want to be able to do that as well. So just kind of get a feel for everyone. Have you guys added your own custom items before? Does everyone know the basics of the mock-ups? And have we created mock-ups before, or just pretty much starting fresh? Okay, so just starting. So we'll dive in. We'll start with just some basics of actually like the quick products versus the templates. And then now has everyone set up their own name and company information and everything like that too, or should I can cover that as well if needed? Awesome. So it looks like we're pretty fresh here. So we'll do a quick run through of the quick products, the templates, and then adding our own information. And from there, we'll kind of breeze through that a little bit, just because there's definitely, I myself have created some of the webinars on just kind of that basics too. So we can look back at that one, but I want to definitely focus on adding our custom items tonight too. So at any point, if you guys have any questions or want to see anything again, or if there's something that's, you're trying to add or just not getting of the mockups, just let me know, and in this webinar I'll try to include or cover as much as possible. So the first thing is, when we open up, I'll go ahead and open up our wizard. All right, so we're gonna head to the mockups tab, and you'll have the quick products at the top. All right, so the quick products are really just to show your design on a certain item. It's not going to really have too much of your company information unless you want to add a watermark. It's literally just going to put your item on an apparel or a wall decal or car decal or whatever we tell it to, but it's not going to have most of our company information on there. So I kind of think of this as a way to, if we just want to quickly send something to our customer, or a couple quick items to our customer to let them choose what they want, I try to use the quick product for that. So once they approve the quick product, then we can create like a custom order form that we can then hand out as well. So the first one will just be a quick product, and we'll go ahead and just open up a live template just so we can throw something on these t-shirts. So we'll just go to our live template pack, and we'll just do something very simple with our design here. So we'll just have our one color design, and we'll go ahead and add our glitter color. So in case you didn't know too, we have a couple different color palettes added up here on our right hand side. So it's going to default to the Caesar Easy Weed. Now these are flat colors, so we can design or we can save in these colors. When we use like the glitter colors and stuff like this, like those specialties where it's the glitter, the holographic, something that might have a pattern involved with it, I try not to save my designs in these patterns or glitter colors. I just want to use them to show my customer what it's going to look like. So I don't really want to design with glitter colors, or I don't want to do too much work with it. It's not like it's necessarily going to mess up your design or anything like that, but it's just little things. Like right now I'm in the glitter gold, and if I wanted to add a contour to the outside of this, it doesn't matter what color I pick up here, it's gonna result in the same color of my glitter. So obviously that doesn't look good and everything like that. So if we go back to a flat color, it'll now show the actual contour with the flat color. So it's just little things like that. So the specialty colors are more there just to allow you to show your customer exactly what it's going to look like in that specialty color. So we have our design here. I'm at my quick products. So the next part is picking what type of design we want to add. So the software will come preloaded with a couple choices and our few choices in different categories. So we have our men's, our women's, infants, boys, girls, and then we have our tier W tab, which kind of is just some specialty items like car decal, keychain, drawstring, koozie, and so on. I actually added this Arctic mug in here, so that's one thing we'll be covering in a little bit, as how to add your own customized items to the mockup. So you're going to get a lot of preloaded items in here, and what's nice about a lot of these items are they're going to come as color changing mockups. So we'll start with our women's tab, and you'll see the list of products we have preloaded. So we have our pretty much a front and back version of all the preloaded shirts. So most of the time you'll probably, well, that's not true. You'll probably use both pretty frequently, but in this case, we'll go ahead and use the front as our example. So we can go ahead and choose any style. So we'll do a women's burnout. Now, what's really important too is when we have our design set up here, it matters what size our design is initially set up as. So right now, this t-shirt or this design is just under 10 inches wide. So that's a pretty good mark for a t-shirt. Now, if it was maybe like the size of a car decal or smaller, so let's say 5 inches, it will still show up on the t-shirt, but it might not look as good because it's such a small design on a t-shirt. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So we have our design set up and just under 10 inches. I have my burnout style selected, and I'm going to go ahead and left click my shirt here. So this little shirt is a preview of the shirt I selected. So you'll see a preview for every item you have in here. So again, we'll do the burnout front. We highlight the design and we just left click our t-shirt. So you can see by being just under 10 inches, this design looks really good on this t-shirt. It's a nice proportion. It doesn't look too big. It doesn't look too small. So this is just a quick proof. It's just going to throw your design on the t-shirt. Again, these t-shirts that are preloaded for you will be color changing. So you can go ahead and select different colors using any of our color palettes. So you could make it even a glitter flake shirt. It's not going to look too good, but you can literally use any of these colors. Now this is a burnout style t-shirt, so you can see those effects are captured in the shirt. Now, does anyone know if I select this black color, why it looks like it's a flat t-shirt and doesn't have that burnout style anymore? So the reason why, or we can actually add those effects back into the t-shirt. So what it is if you right click a contrasting color, so right now I chose black, so if I right click on the white, it'll bring that back into the t-shirt like that. So what happens is when it's defaulted with the white shirt, now that I changed, the white t-shirt's still there, but because I right click the white, it's white on white now. So you need to right click a color that contrasts it. So usually if you choose a white t-shirt, you would right click the black, and then it would show that burnout effect in your shirt. So if you pick a dark color, such as, even a dark blue like this, you can see how it looks pretty flat now. So in this case, you'd want to right click the white, or maybe even like a gray, and then you can start to see those color effects in your t-shirt. So does that make sense for everyone? Awesome. So if for some reason you create a design and let's say you accidentally, you're just playing around with the sizing and you forget to resize it. So now my design is 4.5 inches wide. I go throw it on a t-shirt and it looks really small in that t-shirt now. That's because the original size that we sent it over is 4.5 inches. So in reference to this t-shirt, a 4.5 inch design, this is how it would look on this t-shirt. So instead of going back and, resizing it and everything like that, you can grab your design and resize it to look good on this page. Now that doesn't reference or resize the original design here. It's still 4.5. So this is just kind of to show them, you're just resizing it on your mockup tab or your newly created mockup instead. So this is the point where we would save this. And one quick effect or kind of add-on you can do is if you highlight your design or your t-shirt with the design on it, up top you have this little black box. It's really meant for like a weed border, but I use it more times than not as a background, a quick background color. So I'll just left click and it'll make that a black background. Again, you can select this image and make it any color you'd like. And I usually just like to have some type of color behind it just so that t-shirt pops out a little bit. And this is what we would send over to our customer. So again, it's just something quick. We don't need to have all of our information, all of their information, everything like that. Now we can add the watermark if we needed to. But in this case, I probably would just send it over just like this, just as a quick way for them to see what the design looks like on their selected apparel. Now this question comes up a lot on how to save a design like this. So in this case, we see a lot of times people will save as a PDF. So the reason I don't recommend saving as a PDF is because if your customer knows a little bit about graphics or just file layouts, they can actually take that PDF file and then take your design you just spent a lot of time working on, or maybe not too much if it's a live template, but anyways, you spent time on it, you created it. Well, if you save this as a PDF, I can extract just this file from it. And then let's say I have another competitor of yours that, you know what, hey, I'm going to send you this design that's been created for me. Can you do anything cheaper? I already have the design created. I don't need I don't need to set up a design fee and so on. So by saving or exporting as a PNG or a JPEG, that will protect your image and won't allow your customer to necessarily easily extract it. Now they can still maybe trace it and stuff like that, but then that goes into even a bigger knowledge they'll have to have about the graphics and stuff like that. And if they know how to do all that, they're probably designing it themselves anyway. So I wouldn't recommend, again, saving files as a PDF if you plan on sending those out to your customers. Now, if they want the download file once they pay for everything, that's a different story. We'll send those out. But we don't send, we won't just send the design out until, everything's paid for and, everything like that. All right, so any questions so far? So we had a question, can you make the blanks in reference to different sizes? For example, extra small is much different from XXL. Maybe the design should be a different size. So essentially when you create your own garments, it's going to reference it in size kind of automatically. So let's say you had, it's not going to actually change the t-shirt size or anything like that. So what you would do is, if you know, on the order forms and stuff, they'll have extra small through XXL. So essentially, if this is a vectorized design, in reference to this t-shirt, the design is always going to be the same, hopefully, on it. Like, you know, maybe from a medium to an extra large, you might use the same design, but you know, you'll probably, maybe from an extra small, or even a small to a medium, you might use one size, and then from large to XXL, you might use one size. But you can always, you know, adjust that on the t-shirt manually. So when we did that here, where we resized it, like if I was using, you know, the customer won't know what size t-shirt this is. So we're really just showing them how the t-shirt, or how the design is going to look like it. So when you're actually cutting the actual design, if they're ordering, you know, this same shirt from extra small to triple X, yeah, you're going to have to probably resize that design for different t-shirts. But what they see is, you know, what the mock-up is just going to show is how that design is going to fit on each t-shirt. So you really shouldn't have to be, you know, creating a mock-up for each size or anything like that. They are just going to know, and you'll know going forward, you know, moving forward, that if they order 3 extra smalls, well, I'm probably going to cut those extra small designs closer to like 7.5 inches. And if they want a 2XL shirt, well, that design might be closer to like 10.5. And you'll see on the templates when we create them that you can actually charge more for the larger garments. And I'll show you that in a little. All right. So that's just the basics of the quick product. Now, when we go to the next step is, let's say they like the design on that t-shirt. The next step would be creating the actual order form. So underneath you have the templates. So this, in this case, we're going to do an order form, one product, because we just have the one shirt. And before we do that, actually, I'll show you how we're going to add our watermark and logo, because then we can kind of checklist or check mark some of these, and we'll show you why. All right, so down here under watermarks and logos, you have this little pencil. So you're going to left click this pencil, and you're going to have this description. So the description is just your company name, or just to let you know what watermark we're using. So some people might have maybe a couple different companies under one umbrella. So if they want different like watermarks or anything like that, you can have multiple descriptions and multiple like layouts and everything like that for each business, or you know, anything like that. So the first description, I always write, you know, if I'm doing this for the Rhinestone World, or let's pretend we're doing it for Shirts and Stones, our storefront version of us. So we'll do Shirts and Stones, and then our watermark text. So your watermark text can be whatever you want. It can be your company name. It can just say copyright. It could say do not steal, or property of so-and-so graphics. You know, anything we want our watermark text to say to help, you know, prevent it or show that it's ours, we can put there. So a lot of people will put their website. That way, in case someone does see it, they know where to get that graphic from. So that's a good watermark to have. So we could do info, or we can just do shirtsandstones.com, just like that. So the transparency, we're going to leave around 80, and that's how much the watermark is going to show up, how visible it is. And we can manually change that later. So 80 is pretty, we found that as a good just starting point. And then we have our logo path. So I know someone asked about adding the logo. So this little folder will link to your computer. So depending on where you have like a photo or your logo, you can add it, and it will pull directly from that area. So I didn't have this set up for a logo, but literally you can have a design as your logo. Like I could select this template right here, and this would be considered my logo. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a PNG, JPEG, or anything like that. I'd probably save it that way if possible. Let me see if I can get to one real quick. Okay. So I'll go ahead and I'll just choose my logo just like that. and you'll see the path that it's pulling from. So you just pick the logo. You can save the logo first to your documents or your desktop, wherever you want, and you just select that folder and then click the image you want. So let's say I want this one instead. You'll see the logo path right there. So now business name, sometimes you can easily copy and paste. Web, same thing, copy and paste. Phone number, email, street address. Don't really know it off the top of my head, so I'll just put 1234 Fake Street. And then we can do Bradenton, Florida, 34243. All right, so once we add all of our information in there, it's very important we click Add. Because if you don't click this Add button right here, all that and you just hit Save, all that information we just set up will not be added. So we need to click Add. And then I would recommend, right now you can see it's going to add it to the bottom of your list, whatever's there. So we're going to select the arrow up, up. And we'll put whatever one you want to use the most at the top. So it pretty much will default to whatever one's up top here. So once we have that all set up, now I'm going to hit Save. And now when I go to my Mockup tab, you should see your company or description, whatever you put in that name, right here. So on this one, we don't have stone, so we're just going to do a watermark. You can select background color if you want. I tend not to select, I just leave it at the white or whatever it's defaulted to, because this is such a quick change in the mockup once we create it that, you know, you could sit here and choose a color for a couple minutes, but when you actually see the t-shirt on this color, you might not like it anyways, so you end up changing it. So I tend not to even bother with the background color. So we click logo and watermark, and we'll run through an advanced template. So we're going to do order form, one product. You'll see the order form, and we're just going to hit the launch. So you just click that logo right there, or the order form picture. All right, so now we're going through the steps of creating our order form. So you'll see up here, select product 1. These are the same drop downs that were in our first quick product. So again, if we wanted the women's burnout, you come here. It's nice in this view because you can actually see the shirt too. So we'll go ahead and select women's burnout. The next is what type of, is this for shirts, hats, or decals? So we'll say standard shirt size here. And then if you want to change the name of the style of the t-shirt or anything like that, we can, or it'll just stay women's burnout, which we'll hit OK. Now we'll say select design 1. So if you hit OK without selecting anything, nothing will happen. So you can move this around, and all we want to do is highlight the design we want on that t-shirt. So now we're going to hit OK. And now here we go with the price. So one color glitter, let's say 25. We'll hit OK. Now it's going to generate and go right into my mockups. So you can see now mine's going to look a little bit different because I actually had played around with my order form already. So here you'll see all the information I've already provided. So you'll see shirts and stones, info at shirts and stones, my order deadline, order form, my shirt, my design name here, and this is your background color. So again, you're probably going to change this around anyways, so I tend not to worry about it in this section. So this will create that custom order form for you. Now this, if we change the background a little bit here, you'll be able to see that watermark a little bit better. So now you can actually see that shirts and stones watermark. So again, even with these designs, when we save these order forms, we still do not want to save as PDF files. If possible. There might be a customer that requests it, but this again, if I save this as a PDF, they can break apart everything and take it themselves. So any questions on setting up our information or the quick product or the templates? So we had a question, how do you save, so are you asking how we save this as a, like something to save to our customer? Or send to our customer? Awesome, okay. And yes, Linda, you'll be able to view all this later. So within 48 hours, we'll have the recorded version up on our website and our YouTube channel. All right. Thanks for coming. All right, so at this point, how we would save this design, what I would do is just go to File, Export For, and I just select Web. Now you could just go to Export and select PNG. I like to do it through Export for Web because it shows me a nice little image here. And I can pick my different format that I want. So the PNG will give you the transparency where that white is, if you'd like that. If you don't want the transparency and you just want it as, and if you're gonna print this out, you'll probably just uncheck the transparency so it looks like that. And then you'll just hit Save As. Now, you can save as a JPEG too, but PNG or JPEG is what I would recommend. And you're just gonna hit Save As, and then you would just save, hit file name, Manatee Basketball Proof or Manatee Basketball Order Form, save it to wherever you want in your documents, and then you'll have that saved. And then you can just send that as an email to them, or print it out yourself and, hand out the printouts to your customer. And this is what I meant earlier too, where you can see, Carol, I think it was, Carol, where it will have the +2 and +3 for the larger designs. So you can edit this too. So if you wanted to say +$4 or, you don't charge more unless they go to 3x, you can adjust all the pricing on here too. So everything on these pages you can completely edit. So nothing, if you don't even use small, or let's say you want to use extra small and to a 2x, you can go through here and edit extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, 2x, or anything like that we need, we can completely edit all of these layouts. All right. So now we'll get into more of customizing the templates you see here. So normally a template is going to look closer. Actually, let's do it. Let me do it this way. I'm just going to do this real quick. So it's going to look a little weird, but so usually your templates, and just ignore the design I put on these. This was just to show you real quick. The layout you see here in the color scheme is kind of how those templates are going to be set up. So you'll have this order form. It'll probably say 2016, very cool and catchy shirt name, your company information all here, and then, some more information up here. Order deadline, it's going to put a really random order deadline in here as well. So what you can actually do is take these templates and customize them however we want. So in this case, I added like the blue and white color scheme, or blue and gray color scheme, because that's our colors. Here I got rid of, instead of it having say very cool and catchy shirt name, I said designer looks at discount prices. You can have a little catchphrase. Shirts and Stones is really bold rather than just being this little design here. I don't have a storefront. Let's say I don't have a storefront maybe, or I don't have a email or a website. You can delete all those out, so all that will show is just maybe your company name and an email so they can contact you at. So we can edit these templates for different color schemes and layouts to make it kind of customizable or set up for our company. So to do that, what we want to do is go to our documents, and you'll see a TRW wizard page here, and then you'll see mockups. So under mockups, we have our templates tab, and these will be, you'll notice how these are the templates that you'll see in your wizard. Actually, sorry, so we're going to go mockups and then templates here, and then you'll see your mockups just like that. So you're able to select, I'm going to get rid of that. That was just one I copied over a while ago. So you're able to select any of these mockups and customize them. So let's say one I already customized, so let's go to order form 2 products. Or actually we'll go back to 1. And you'll notice now all the colors I have in this look. And actually, sorry, I'm gonna go to original one so I can actually show you what's gonna be there and how we can edit it. So this is what it looks like from scratch. So it'll say order form 2019, and then it says order deadline 2015-2075. So obviously this order deadline is way far away. We don't probably want that to say order form July 15 to 2075, and we probably don't want to waste time at, writing or typing that every time. So what you can actually do is just simply delete this top or that date out, leave order deadline, and then take a little pen and write it in yourself. So it's almost just like it says order deadline, but you can actually just write the deadline in manually instead of every time you create an order form, oh, let me not forget to change that in there. So that's, just one thing. And then again, we have our business name, phone number, and, email, and website address. So again, if you don't have any of this or don't want to show your customer any of this, you just simply, if you don't want the website address, you hit delete. If you want your business name to be a little bit bigger, you can make that bigger, and you can totally change the font as well. So everything we're changing in here will say the way we're changing it. So again, if I don't want, if my address is here, but I'm working at my house, and I don't really want them to know where I live, no problem. I just make my business name a little bit bigger, and then I can totally change the font style of it as well. And same with the text and the colors. If I want all this to be blue, I can change this as well. Hey Peggy, welcome. So again, we can just come through here and change any of this information we want. So I'll make all this blue as well. Now, the one thing we don't want to change are these the orange boxes and the yellow ones. Anything like with the box shape, those are specially set up so when you put when you pick your items, they're going into those boxes. So you can change and edit the background colors. So, but don't edit the orange or yellow in these boxes. And I think on the first one, it was a red box. So we don't want to edit. If there's just a box with color in it, like red, orange, or red, orange, or yellow, don't edit those, because those are specific. Like this captures your logo, and these capture our mock-up. So you don't want to edit those, but we can totally, any of the colors in the background here, I could totally edit for whatever color scheme I wanted. So, it might make it a little bit harder to read, but we technically can change any of that around. Exactly, it's just like a placeholder. So obviously right now this probably doesn't look too, this layout isn't anything spectacular or anything like that. The color scheme's kind of all random, but now if I hit, you can see up here it says order form 2 product. So if I go to save and hit yes, now that's just saved. So now when I go to, let's see if I had my design, and I select order form 2 products, go ahead and select that. First product, highlight, okay. Second product, we're going to do the same layout, so we'll do 2 different style t-shirts. Select it, hit okay. And that was just a basic one. So the basic doesn't ask you all those other questions. So then it's just going to save it just like we did. So now you'll see our shirts and stones in the font we selected, shirts and stones, my logo, and then my layout just like that. So that's how we can customize these layouts, to look any way we want to kind of match our company colors, or anything. If we just want it to stick out, anything like that, we have complete control of how these will look. Any questions on customizing our templates? So the next part would be adding a custom design. So what I did is I just searched earlier in Google and I just put in blank white Nike sweater. So let's just say, the person you're setting this up for brings you in a Nike sweater. Now you'll probably know exactly what the name, like you'll be able to search the name and pull it up exactly what it is. But you can actually take those items and show your customer what your design will look like on that customized item. So what we did here is I just searched Nike, again, just Nike blank sweater. So when we're creating these mock-ups, I tend not to try to grab stuff with actually people in it, because I don't, that could definitely be problematic if we're including images of other people and stuff like that. So I try to just select something with just a t-shirt or something blank like that. And one other thing too is, a design or hoodie like this, if it's at this angle where it's not directly at you, it's not going to look good when we put a mock-up on this. So we want to look at something like this where it's square and right in, looking right at us. So let's say we want this hoodie and we want to throw our design, this is the little hoodie they're going to use for their warm-ups, and this is what we want to show them what their design is going to look like. So we're just going to right click and go copy image. Now sometimes when you do this, it might bring in a whole, like an entire black image. That's like a protective thing they'll put on their design, so you might have to just search for a new one at that point. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to go up to our mockup creator. So that's going to be the tab right next to it. So right now this t-shirt, when I bring it in, you can see that it has this white box around my design. So when I put this background color on it, it's not just a t-shirt, it has that white box around the outside of it. So we want to subtract or pull our mock-up out of that white image. So to do that, the first step we want to try is select this create auto boundary. By selecting create auto boundary, what we're telling it to do is try to find the outside of this object and trace it for me or automatically so I don't have to. So we're going to left click, and that pretty much worked perfectly. So you can see if I zoom in or if I change this line to blue, that's the trace it gave us. So that's a pretty good trace there. I don't really need to do any work. Now, depending, it's not always going to be like that though. So sometimes it might bring in a third of your design, but then it might catch some weird angle or glare on the t-shirt and it might look like that instead. So if that's the case and it doesn't give you a good trace, you can do a manual trace. You select the B-spline here and you'll literally go around the outside, left click, and that will drop the nodes and you'll trace it manually yourself. So we're just literally going around the outside of it when we do these traces. But again, this one came in perfect with our auto trace. So I just need to left click and then we have our auto trace. All right. So the next step is deciding, or it's really not deciding, it's either you have a apparel or an item that's white, and if it's not white, then it's not a cutout or color changing mock-up. So in the system, if you started this design as a white hoodie sweatshirt or whatever we want to call this, like a short sleeve hooded shirt, you can actually make those into color changing t-shirts. But because it's black, it will be stuck in this case as just a black mock-up or black mock-up of this specific item. So cutout color change or cutout image mock-up are our next two choices. So since this isn't a white item that we're starting with, we need to hit cutout image mock-up. So we make sure we have that layer. We highlight our entire design and we select cutout image mock-up. So what that does is where that line was, it pretty much gets rid of everything behind it. So if I put a background on it now, you don't see that white box anymore. You just see our sweatshirt or hoodie, whatever we want to call this. So once we have that cut out, our next step is adding our design width. So this is kind of like what we were talking about at the beginning. When we have those designs and let's say we have, a 9-inch design, how it's going to look referenced on this t-shirt. And that is what we're controlling at this moment. So if I want to use this, when I'm using this mock-up, and it might change and you might have to go back and edit it, but you're going to decide, do I want a full graphic? Do I want a pocket up here? What are we adding to this design? So if it's a full design across the chest, we'll want to make our design width the size of a chest design. So, 9.5, 10 inches wide. So I'll put 9.5 and I'll select create design placement. So it's going to give you this red box. So even if I make this red box smaller and put that right here, this box is still reading as 9.5 inches in the software. So up here it's going to say, some random design width 2.4, 2.5 inches wide by 2 inches tall. That's okay, because when we created this box, we told it was 9.5 inches. So it's going to, when we put a design on here, it's going to look for this box as 9.5 inches. Does that make sense? Okay. So once we have that set and the placement we want it, now if you type 9.5 and you make a pocket tee right up here and you make it really small, that's not, it's not going to be looking too good on this shirt. So we want to make sure, if we're doing 9.5, it's a full chest design. If we wanted something smaller, we need to retype 2.5, create design placement. And you can see the 2.5 is the same size box, but now I'm going to resize that and I can make that, my pocket. And no, we don't want to add 2 on the same one. We don't want to do that. All right. So then the last step would be adding this to the folder that we want it to be added to. So I can make a custom one where I can click add new folder. So I can make a whole new folder that says Nike apparel. Hit OK. And then name short sleeve hoodie, black. All right. So once I have that set up, I'm going to highlight and hit Save Custom Product. It's kind of going to do a little blink, and it'll give me this okay that it's been saved as Nike Apparel short sleeve hoodie black front. So I hit OK. So now if I go back to my mockups, you'll see Nike Apparel already added. If you drop to your products, you'll see short sleeve hoodie and a little preview of your design right there. So that's what we're looking for. And now if we go to our design, we have our Manatee basketball, select the Nike Apparel, and it'll throw it right on there for me. Now even if I don't like the placement exactly, I can definitely move that up and put that there. And now I have my exact mock-up of what they're going to like on their apparel that they're going to be using. So any questions on adding a customized item? So someone asked, what about a storefront window? So same thing. If we wanted to add a storefront window, one, you can take a picture of the window you want to add it to, or you can just come here, storefront window. Again, you'll want to choose something that's, square with you. And you can kind of already see in this one, someone already kind of made a logo here. But let's say something like this. And let's do this one. So we'll do copy image. Paste. So here's my storefront. Now I don't need this entire store, so I can just crop just my window out. And if I want just the door, I could crop just the door. If I want the whole thing, I could do the whole thing. But at this point, we'll go to our mockup creator again. Now you don't necessarily need to create like a boundary around this one if you didn't want to. Or you don't need to, you can pretty much just draw a box around your design like this. Because it's just like a square shape, you don't necessarily need to trace anything. Cut out image mockup, and now this is our mockup. So then again, resize what size it's going to be on that door. Maybe it's 12 inches. Create design placement. And you could put your window here. And you could actually, let's say you wanted to show them all the windows. You can put the same box on all four. And then we'll save this one. Do add new folder again. Windows. Hit OK. Window 4 panel window. Just something like that. Highlight. Save custom product. It's been saved. And now we could even do kind of like they had on that example, your design here. Let's center that. You can pick a nice text if you wanted to. And again, we set that to 12 inches. So we're going to make our design about 12 inches wide. You can make it any color you want. Let's do a little bit lighter because those windows were kind of dark. So let's do a kind of light gray. Mockups, windows, 4 panel. Oh, did I not save one of them? One of them's not showing, so let's see. Quick proof. Design here, so it's only choosing the one. See if it's adding it now. It's still doing the one. I'll have to check on that. But it's going to be the same. You know, you can take any item and just throw it up there just like that. So if it's a door or window, you can put a customized, or you can just do your design here and just kind of show them what it's capable. I'll have to double check because it should, any of those boxes, it should see them all at once. So I'm going to write that down now. Because usually you're able to send multiple ones on the same. So the only difference, if you started with, again, like the apparel, like when we did the Nike apparel, if you started with a white hoodie, you could have, like if we started with this one here, as soon as I clicked it, it disappeared. We could crop his head out too, no problem. But this would, you could change that to a color changing item. Yeah, they would all be the same. Yes. Yeah. So that's what, on a design like this, if you had the 4, they would all be the same design. Now, if we set it up to the 4 products, they'd be a little bit different because you could choose like a different one, but that you would actually have to have like a window in each one, so it'd be a little bit different. So actually, it would, the only way to do it would be to send them all as the same. But when it has like your design here, it wouldn't look as bad. So it should kind of look like this, where you're able to show them, you know, you can put anything on all 4 of these windows. Something like that. But again, if you were, you know, like I said, if you were using this as a white t-shirt, the only difference you would do when you went to the mockup creator is cut out color change mockup. And then when you're in that tab, like we did with our order forms here, these kind of shirts where you're able to change the color, you'd be able to do that. On these ones, where'd my Nike one go? If you try to change the color, it's not going to work because we told it it's not a color changing mockup. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming to tonight's webinar. If there's any additional questions, please let us know. Give us a call at 941-755-1696 or shoot us an email at info@therhinestoneworld.com. Also, just to give you a heads up, I'm not sure if anyone tried to place some orders last night, but we did extend Matt's birthday sale. So if you missed out on anything, I know the website was acting all weird last night. So I know Matt extended the sale. So if you guys have any questions on that, that's right up on our main page. Pull that up real quick. So all these are running through tonight. It'll expire tonight at pretty much 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so it's like 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you guys are looking at anything for that, there's free birthday fonts available. So you know there's other little things too. In case you know you're new to rhinestones, I would definitely recommend getting some of those free birthday fonts there. So you got 2 free ones right on the featured product page. So if you don't have any rhinestone fonts, you should have a few just because they're preloaded with the software, a few of them. But I would definitely, you know, just go get these. They're free. So, and they're nice. You know, they're actually fonts that you'd probably use more frequently than not. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. And then we have some new designs listed as well. So hopefully everything goes smoothly tonight. But if you guys have any issues with anything with the sale related, just shoot us an email, contact us on Facebook, and we'll try to get that resolved as quickly as possible. But otherwise, you guys have a great night. Thank you so much. And yes, I'll have this up most likely tomorrow, but within 48 hours for sure. All right, guys, have a good one.